Yo, what's going on, Nomads and Drifting Podcast listeners? Welcome to Backspace Nomads, where every week we discuss gaming topics, review the latest in indie games, and bring gamers on to share their personal gamer stories. You can find us on Twitter at Backspace Nomads and on our Patreon, patreon.com/Backspace Nomads. This is episode 29 of the podcast, and I'm your host, Brian. And of course, my delightful co-host, Monica. Monica, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just trying to, for those of you guys that are just listeners, for one, hey, what's up?
Yo.
But for those that watch or watch our podcasts on YouTube or watch us live, I have a vein that pops out of my head when I smile, and I smile a lot, and it's turning into a problem.
It's not like becoming a thing that happens. It's becoming a permanent addition, a third mic on the podcast. Really,
it's coming out right now, and it makes me look like I'm smiling, but I might be actually raging on the inside, and I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm really confused. But no, I've been doing good, Brian. You know, just smiling and thinking about ending it all.
What? Is that a call for help, or
I don't know? Look at my vein. You tell me.
I'm not a vein reader. All right. Are there psychics out there who can come look at your face vein and see what you're gonna do with your life?
I don't know. I wonder if psychics do look at that though. When they look at your palm and everything, like they could just look at your hand and be like, "Oh shit, your veins are starting to look old as fuck."
You're gonna die soon.
Which actually leads me to the topic I wanted to bring up with you today. I guess I'm getting old as fuck. I don't know. One of my
your head vein has wrinkles now.
It's it's a pretty well known fact amongst friends and family that I have a streamed, and then now I'm doing this gaming podcast, and I like video games, and it's just a thing that I do. And but I haven't been asked anything quite like what I was asked the other day by a coworker ever in my life. And basically this person was just asking me about video games that I like to play and everything, and then he was like, so when were you like when was your pinnacle? Like, when was the pinnacle of gaming?
When did you peak?
Like, when did you peak? Yeah. Exactly. And I didn't know what he meant, and so I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I still play games all the time." And he goes, "Yeah, but like, when was it like the biggest, like the biggest deal in your life?" Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I have an entire fucking podcast about video games. When would it be bigger than now? Are you like? It didn't hit me. At first, I was just like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, I've played video games my entire life, pretty much. Like, I've had peaks and valleys, like,
mm-hmm.
Any good relationship. But I have played video games throughout my entire childhood and throughout my entire adult life.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what it meant, and then it didn't hit me until later, and maybe it's because I was smiling and he saw the vein in my forehead and he thought, well, she's too old to play video games. But it didn't hit me until later that, like, maybe in his mind, this couldn't be my, like, normal thing. And, like, I once upon a time was a real gamer. And now I'm just an old gamer.
Is he a gamer? Do you know that about him?
No, he is not. Not, like, actively.
Right. Do you think he's, like, a sports player?
No, he's definitely not.
Okay. I was going to bring up maybe he, like, thinks of it like how when you're in high school or whatever, you played more basketball and you're just better at basketball because you're younger, you're more athletic.
No, he's just a nerdy musician that makes AI.
Okay. So
I'm just really old.
Monica, what was Atari like growing up? What are those? I don't know. I think like there was times where like we do a podcast now, and the podcast takes up a lot of my time. But I think there was definitely more of a time in my life where the game I was playing defined me. Like coming out of high school, I was playing World of Warcraft like a lot of other people. And like that game literally defined who I was for like 2 or 3 years of my life. Like I woke up, I played it. I went to bed thinking about playing it. And so
if that game defined who you were, then who were you?
I was a level 60 dwarven rogue who could top those DPS charts, baby. I was the best.
Pretty cool, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been asked anything like that before, and I guess for me, gaming has always just been a as I can do it if I have time. And that brings up an interesting, like, with the podcast and stuff, finding the time to make sure that we have the content and play the game that we're playing each week. No, it's not easy at this point, and maybe that's what's so surprising to people is like, if I wasn't doing this, would I still play games? Yeah, I would. And I think it's just like any good TV show. Like, you start watching it, and if you can keep watching it and it's good, you're going to keep playing it. I feel like that about any game throughout my entire life. So there have been times where, like, I pick up games and I start trying one out and it just doesn't resonate with me, and I drop it, and then I go out with my friends. And then there are other times where I am waiting to get out of my job or whatever I've got going on that day to go play a game. Is there a time where, when do you become a novelty item?
You're a novelty item?
I'm not a novelty item, but you look at Twitch and you look at gaming in general, and when you see an older person playing, it's kind of a novelty.
Gotcha.
You're like, oh, you are old, you shouldn't be doing this anymore. And that comment that was made to me, like, oh, well, when was your peak? When was your whatever? Just kind of insinuated. And I don't think that this person meant it in any negative way, and nor did I take it that way. But it kind of insinuates that, like, there is a peak, and that if I keep going on, I'm just holding on to, like, my glory days. But when does that happen for gamers? And is it going to happen? I don't know.
I don't know. When's the last time, like, a game consumed your psyche? That, like, you were thinking about that game more than you probably should be.
Witcher 3.
Witcher 3? That was, like, what, 3-4 years ago?
No, a year and a half ago-ish.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I am getting older. I can't even put that together. I thought Witcher 3 was way longer ago than that.
No. I'll fight you. I'll fight you.
You don't have to. Right, I'll take your word for it. We don't have to come to blows over this. But I don't think that...
It was May 19th in 2015.
Okay, 2 years ago. Okay. We'll meet in the middle.
I said a year and a half ago. You said 4 to 5 years ago.
I said 3 to 4.
You did?
Yes.
Oh. All right. We'll meet in the middle. Shake on it. Shake on it.
Oh, okay. This is not awkward and embarrassing. This is like our bad Patreon video. We're just high-fiving each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, do you think gaming is going to become a thing where people think that about gamers, where you, like, kind of age out of it? Or do you think gaming is one of those things, unlike sports, where once you do it, it's there to stay? Like, you're ready to game.
I just asked you that question.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Well, I think that, gaming is kind of a thing that you don't age out of. I will forever think about playing games and want to play games and have it take away from other parts of my life and, like, purposely do that. I don't think I want to stop having stories given to me and experiencing them in, like, an interactive way. Like, I think of video games almost as a side shoot of, like, reading a book. Right. Like, you really do live with characters and stuff. And I don't think people who aren't gamers necessarily get that. They look at it like first-person shooters that are just, like, multiplayer thing. I think that's what most people think of nowadays, like a Call of Duty. Yeah. Is where everyone thinks of as gaming when they're not really into gaming. Yeah.
How many of your friends or people that you just know, acquaintances, still game?
Oh, I probably have a handful of people, and they range. Like, I have 2 friends who are, like, the FPS shooters, and, like, they're dads now, so they'll just get on for, like, 30 minutes when they can find the time to, like, play that. And I don't know if I consider them gamers the same way I would, like, friends of mine who still go on to play games like Witcher 3 and consume hours on hours and hours of their day.
Yeah.
So I got a mix. I definitely don't keep in touch with a lot of people, and that probably has to do with me playing video games.
Okay.
So there's a mix for me, but I can definitely tell that like the people who have families are the more like 30 minutes shooters. I just want a game I can get in and get out and kind of escape a little bit. Yeah. Versus the people who are putting off family life a little bit are the more serious, like story serious gamers. Yeah. And I don't want to like shoot that as a blanket because I'm sure there are people who like want deep stories and have families. Yeah. Those people are there. I just don't run into them in my life.
Yeah, I think that my circles, when I think about the people that I work with, and like a lot of them used to. Mm-hmm. And I that's what I'm trying to say here. I think I feel like there is novelty. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in the next 10 years I am going to become like a little like, little novel creature, mainly because part of it's family, mm-hmm. but also it's just something that people seem to grow out of as they get other activities or maybe expand their world and have more experiences. I feel like I've had a shit ton of experiences and I still play video games. Yeah. But I think a lot of people, like, that's just what you do when you're in high school or when you're younger. You kind of lock yourself in a room and you play video games and you're antisocial or whatever. And then now you get older and you have more experiences and you have money and you have all these things and maybe you still game, but, like, it's less and less. And now I'm just, like, almost everyone that I know doesn't or complains that they never have time to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I still find time to do it. And even if I wasn't doing the show, I would be finding time to do it because it's still that it's a hobby. Yep. But I think that I soon, outside of just having my vein and I've got a couple gray hairs, I had my first gray hair in my mid late 20s. I'll never forget that moment.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I do think that I'm starting to get to a point where I'm becoming novelty.
Don't say that about yourself.
I think I am.
Why?
Because no one else games and I'm getting older and I have gray hair and a big vein.
I think that's kind of like why Twitch takes off. Like, people in your personal life do stop playing games. Like, the small circle of your life, more people fall off, and then you go into like online communities like Twitch or like forums or other stuff. You have to start reaching out online in a way to find these communities of people who still game.
I'm just gonna rename myself the middle-aged maven.
It's catchy. I can't take that away from you.
Yeah. Oh man.
Some nice alliteration.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Yeah.
I think it has to do with like your partner too. I know when I'm playing like longer stretches of games, my girlfriend doesn't necessarily like understand it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think if I was like sitting next to her reading a book, she would grasp it a little bit more and be more all right with it because I've done that before and she did it. I could feel that it wasn't a problem, but I know when I've been in a long gaming session, like 3 or 4 hours, you can kind of sense it. You can feel it like, hey, what the fuck's going on? And I don't know what that is. And I think that plays into people stopping gaming.
It's because you're too old too to play games.
I am not too old. I am like I'm the Peter Pan of the gaming world. We're the Lost Boys. No, is it the Lost Boys? Is that Peter Pan's dudes?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what you have to be in gaming. You gotta be part of the Lost Boys.
Yeah, I'm a Lost Boy. No, I don't know. I thought it was interesting and it particularly hit me, I think, because outside of just the fact that I had this conversation with one of my coworkers. We also played a game this week that is like, as I was sitting there playing it and enjoying it for the most part, I just thought, I am too old for this.
Cat Quest definitely felt like a game that maybe we shouldn't be playing. It's not our like it wasn't aimed at us.
Well, let's jump into it then. Let's talk about Cat Quest.
Let's jump into that review before Cat Quest. Cat Quest was released August 8th, 2017 for $12.99 from developer The Gentle Bros and published by PQ Limited. Cat Quest is an open world RPG set in a possum world of cats. In search of your catnapped sister, you pounce into a massive continent of Felingard, a world crafted in the style of overworld maps of yore and purring, with cat-tastic characters, stories, and puns. Monica, what were your cat expectations of Cat Quest?
So we had another game in mind for this week, and then we just decided, like, last second that we were going to try something else. And
a much more age-appropriate game, too.
And just to be clear here, Brian, like, messaged me and was just like, want to play Cat Quest? And I was just like, that sounds like shit. Sure, let's do it. Because I thought I will have things to say about this game.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of cat games out there where you, like, I've seen plenty of them where you just run around and, like, push things off shelves and you're a cat or you do something as a cat, whatever. So my expectations for this game for one, at this point I had not watched the trailer. I didn't even click the link that you sent me, Brian. I just saw Cat Quest and I said, we're going to do it and I'm going to fucking hate it.
Yeah.
But I was down for that. Like, I was down to play a game that I was not planning on enjoying this week. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm old and grouchy now.
You're all cranky.
Yeah, I'm so cranky, but I was down to play a game that I didn't think I was going to think highly of. So what were your expectations? I mean, you picked the game out. You were probably just like drooling, chomping at the bit for it.
I found this game like last minute for us type of thing. I saw all the cat puns, how bright and cheerful this looked, and I was like, God damn, I'm ready to jump into this, have a cat-tastic time.
Oh, God.
What, you didn't get into the puns?
No, I hated them.
All right, so let's jump into the thing that you liked. I don't think the puns are going to make it for you.
No, let's talk about the puns for a little bit. So literally everything in this game is pretty much named after some kitty type of deal. And I will say that whoever they hired to do this is probably, if it was just like one person, this person deserves a vacation because they had to have put an incredible amount of effort into creating all of these names.
I just imagine this person.
Or no effort at all. I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to just sit there and think of, like, bajillion kitty puns.
Dude, I imagine this person like sitting at home with like 5, maybe 10 cats in their house, and like they just make little cat puns to them like all the time. That's like how they get through their day.
Or they're like, you know what? I normally, work from home or I work in the office, but today I'm going to go to the cat cafe, which I don't know if you've ever heard of one of those, but
Nope.
You can go to cafes and they just have cats there and it's like a therapeutic thing. They're like, I'm going to the cat cafe. That's what I need in my life. Maybe that's what the creator of this game did. Anyway, one of my favorite things in this game.
What's going on in this country?
Pun in the game. You don't like cats? Where's my cats?
It's just that there's a cat cafe. It just sounds bizarre.
It is, and you can adopt them. You can adopt the cats and hang out with them. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You got so innocent there. But my favorite pun in the game was definitely the puss planes.
The puss planes. Okay.
So let's jump into the things that I liked about this game. I outside of the puss planes, that wasn't actually on my top 3 list, but I did enjoy that pun. I also felt like this probably isn't supposed to be dirty at all, but bushes and shrubberies and puss planes. I actually really enjoyed the music. Are you gonna hate the music on this one?
Nope.
Okay, great. I liked the music. I thought that they did an excellent job. This is not a very expensive game. I think it runs around, what is it, $12.99?
Yes.
Okay, so $13, $12.99. Not too expensive, and the music in it was really excellent, I thought. It was fun. It was definitely a little bit more childish, but that fits the theme here. And And I got into it. I thought that they did a nice job with it. It put you in the setting that you were intended to be in.
Yeah, I was tying the sound and the overall like world map into this kind of like old school vibe that they were bringing up on at you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like this game definitely had the feel of a old like Super Nintendo game, like RPG that's been like really updated and
Mm-hmm.
brought into like the modern era. The world map definitely is how they used to do world maps in RPGs. The combat system is pulled out into the world map, so you're just walking around the world map and you're attacking. The sound definitely sold the old school vibe of this game. Those are like the like melodies and the feels that like Chrono Trigger would give you, Final Fantasy would give you, Secret of Mana would give you.
Mm-hmm.
So the sound definitely was a big thing for me. But overall, it's just kind of like the vibe felt really good about in this game.
Yeah, I one of the things, so it's definitely an RPG. You're running around as this little kitty, and you're a what's the dragon? You're a dragon.
Dragon Blood.
Dragon blood. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a part of the dragon blood. You're a chosen one, and you can fight dragons. And there hasn't been a cat that can fight dragons
Ooh.
in years. There's just dragons everywhere that need to be fought. They've been killing these kitties. They've been turning them into
Is this just
nits.
Skyrim for cats?
Yeah,
Is that
basically.
Skyrim's like story?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's weird. You're just a kitty, and you got to fight these dragons. You're the chosen one. Your sister was taken away from you at the very
Catnapped.
beginning. Yeah, you just stripped. You're taken away from you. Now you got to go save her. And as you're running around in this world, I will say that the art is actually really awesome.
Yeah.
And just it's what would you call it? It's the view is like 3D, but it's just really it reminded me of like Don't Starve.
Yeah, it feels it's like a two-thirds perspective, so you're not completely overhead. It's like the old school and it's Super Nintendo angle from the old RPGs, but everything's like kind of cut out and
It
like
felt like
storybook.
cutouts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like diorama almost. Like
yeah,
you could definitely walk behind things, but they were just. It's almost like Paper Mario. Really, it's a Paper Mario feel, which went
right.
for that like cutout look.
A little bit more. It didn't feel as cut out as Paper Mario to me, but that same idea. And I
Yeah,
really liked it. I thought that
I did too.
I was actually really very impressed
Mhm.
with the visuals for this price point. It felt more expensive.
It did. It felt like you should take this game more seriously than a $13 game.
Right. Yeah, it definitely did. And even just the content and everything, I don't know. It just, as a whole, it felt more expensive.
Yeah, and I really appreciate this about people who like do art direction for games, especially in the indie space, is that these people like took very saturated colors and just went after it. Like right now in indie games, there are so many like pastel colors, muted colors, like crushed color palettes. These guys are full on contrast, saturated colors, and they just took it and they run with it, and they weren't afraid of it. And I appreciate that as people who don't want to just do what everyone else is doing.
I felt like the colors were just more primary and childlike.
Yeah, that's definitely like
Yeah.
the whole thing. Like, and they weren't. I guess it's like fitting for a game called Cat Quest, but they weren't embarrassed about it. It didn't feel like,
Right.
you know, it's like they owned it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Another thing that I liked about the game is they made fun of the kind of how they're cliche, and I thought that was good because if they hadn't have done that, I almost would have vehemently pointed out that they were cliche in a lot of different ways for an RPG, including the fact that you're being followed around by this little blue orb, which is
Yeah.
which is a cat in blue orb, but they definitely pulled from a lot of elements from the genre, and did they just stuck
Yep.
cat villages and a cat into that environment.
They did.
But they made fun of it, and I liked that. I thought that they were honest about that, and so I gave them a pass for a
Yeah.
lot of the things that I saw that they were copying.
Yeah, they're very self aware about that. I think the last thing for me would be the combat system. Very simple, but very enjoyable, entertaining. Sometimes it would be challenging, and the turn like things would happen so fast that you would just be taken out, and you weren't really sure why. Like every enemy individually wasn't that hard, but when they started to stack together, things did become more complicated. And they had a very good system about showing when an attack was going to happen. You basically see almost a progress bar fill up in the shape of the attack and where it's going to be. It just, it's a simple combat system that you didn't put a lot of thought into, and maybe that hurts it in the long run, but just getting into the game, very easy to understand, made the game like fun right off the bat.
So I would say that the combat system is actually one of my negatives. Only not that because it was too complicated or too easy, but it was very there wasn't a lot of additions to it. You run around, you strike, you have a few different, you can learn different magic, which is cool. So they did have all of the elements there, but it just didn't feel like anything special, probably because of the simplicity of just the UI and the controls, really.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like the combat system really left it left something to be desired for me. I could see people, especially old people like us, getting bored with it.
Yeah, it's one of those demographic things. Like that combat system, not for us.
Yeah, but if I had like children that loved me and I loved them and I bought them this game, they would probably love the combat system. So I do think that for me it was like a little bit too simple, but it's funny that I say that too, because a lot of times when combat systems are too complex, I just don't do anything, and I like barrel roll all the way through the game and don't really pay attention to the customization of all of my weapons and all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a middle ground for me with that, and I just felt it was a little bit on the simpler side.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, one of the big negatives about this is kind of how repetitive the game got. Mm-hmm. This game got very mindlessly and grindy very fast. All of the quests basically were the same. They told you where to go. They were using the same gimmicks, like follow the tracks on the ground.
Yeah.
Go to this arrow. Like, it happened almost immediately.
It guides you to everything.
Yeah. You are not trying to guess what to do in this game at all. So I'm all right with like a mindless grind of a game, because I do love that. I'm an old school MMO lover. I love grinding, but I think that the repetitiveness got to me because of the stat system and just how simple the stats were. You had like how high your magic was, your attack was, your armor was, your HP, like 4 stats. And so if I'm going to be grinding and doing that kind of mindless, mundane, like kill 3 of these, follow this here, like I want my stat system to be like deep, and I wanted to be doing it for a reason, and that just hurt the game too much for me, is that the repetitiveness had no reason to be there, because what's the point if all the stats are so simple?
Yeah. The last thing that I had a problem with was the fact that none of the characters have emotions. Your little like guide has frowny faces and smiley faces and everything, but I don't know if you noticed this, none of the other characters in the game, like if their village is burning, or like if they're being attacked or whatever, like their faces, they're just always like, they're just always purr, and they just always got their little kitty grin. It's a
happy cat world.
Well, it's very happy, but when you're describing the setting as like, oh, everyone's fearful and they're just bouncing behind you like with their little smiles on, I was just like, what is this? This is not fear.
Yeah.
But
maybe they are afraid. That's just how they deal with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's how I deal with a lot of my fears, is I just laugh about them. But
I'm getting older.
I'm getting older. Let's talk about it on the podcast. But yeah, I it's a small thing, but like, if your NPCs and everything are supposed to be fearful or uncomfortable or whatever, like make them just turn that frown up, or turn that smile upside down.
Okay. The last thing for me, I think and like we touched on it, is the puns. Just stop. Just stop, Cat Quest. Like the capital. You said the Puss Plains, the Forest. Where did they in their design meeting just say like, you know what? Let's go all in on these puns.
All in
On these puns. Like we're gonna make up for our story that it's not there, our lack of items and stats with cat puns. They're not gonna notice anything else.
Yeah.
It was just too much, and I think that like you're running around in an open world, so you see the names of the towns while you're running around on the map. You can't escape the cat puns. They're just there and staring you in the face the entire time, and it just ruined Cat Quest for me. I enjoy a good pun, just like the next like douchey guy, but when they're just overloaded like this, I can't be part of it. I can't do it.
So I definitely had to tune out the cat puns. It was overbearing.
Yeah.
It's like having the one friend that just like their only joke is that's what she said.
Oh my god, yes.
And they just say it to like everything, and it's not funny, and it's been overused, and now they're just gonna say it, and then you start watching everything that you say so that you're not setting yourself up for their joke to help you not be angry about their joke.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this almost started turning into. It's like, I get it. You guys are clever. You thought of all of these things. Great. But I also was just like at some point I said, you know what? I'm supposed to either be like more of a weeaboo than I am right now, and I would say I'm a little bit on the weeaboo
if you
side.
like dating sims, you're more than just a little bit. You're full on weeaboo.
You know, but I was not weeaboo enough for this game, and I also was just like, either I'm supposed to be more of that, or I'm supposed to be like 12.
Yeah.
And I'm not there on either of these things. So like, I just want my cat puns sprinkled in. Like, I don't need an entire cup of sugar in that bowl of cereal, you know?
That's what she said.
Oh my God. That's stupid.
That's how you do it though, right?
Yeah.
I'm good at this.
God damn it, Brian. God damn it.
I don't like your tone. I think I did a good job there.
You did excellent. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
murder you.
All right. Final thoughts for Cat Quest.
You know, outside of the fact that it was a little childish and a little simple, I definitely could see this being a game where after a long, hard day of working as an old lady, and my back's hurting and my arms are hurting because I just sat and existed. I could see myself coming home and saying like, this is an easy enough game to like unwind to. The music's fun. It definitely has this like positive vibe to it. And you know, it has dragons in it, and I love dragons. If I love anything, in this world, it is my cat and dragons. And so I enjoyed it, and I actually think that the next day I have a shitty time in the office, and I come home and my back's breaking and whatever, I might need a couple cat puns to cheer me up. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'm going to recommend it. But I also think that you have to go into this and like have, you know, if you are that Call of Duty player, you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah. This is not for you, my friend. You're going to become a cat lady when you get older, just so you know.
Oh, I know.
That's in your future.
Yeah.
I'm a thumbs down on this game, but I'm like close to being a thumbs up. I'm not like, I don't completely hate this game. It's a cheap game. It has a ton of character in it in terms of music and style and visuals and all that. And I dug like different parts of it. I didn't hate this whole game at all, but it just got so repetitive.
Just commit to disliking it.
It's so cute though. Like, it's an adorable game. Like, I don't like cats, but I can't hate cats. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel about this game. Like, I'm never going to want to own a cat, but if you show me a cute cat picture, I'll give it to you. It's nice. It becomes a little bit repetitive. It's a very shallow game, and I just got better things to do with my life than endure cat puns all day long.
That sounds like what an old person would say.
Well, maybe, some of us are getting older and we accept it.
Yep. Okay.
And we'll just stop playing video games sooner or later.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Cat Quest released August 8th, 2017 from the Gentle Bros. You can find it on Steam for $12.99. Published by PQ Limited. That is Cat Quest. Alright, so the next segment that we're going to do on episode 29 is that we're going to take a look at some games that are recently released or coming up, and keeping in line with our kind of growing older and aging theme on this cast, kind of take on the shoes, take a step back in time to our 13-year-old self, and like, what would the 13-year-old Brian Monica feel about these games coming out into this world?
13 years old, I was in, was that 8th grade?
It's a lot of math.
I was becoming a woman.
Shut the fuck up, dude. What the fuck?
If it was Elizabethan times,
for the first time.
If it was Elizabethan era, I could have been married off.
Thank God for the modern world, because young Monica would never have a chance to play Slime Rancher.
Man. Yeah. I grew. I'm a tall person, so I grew a lot that year to the point where I started to hurt. And my parents or my mother took me to the doctor, and they found out that I had tendonitis because my bones were growing faster than my tendons. So it was like, really, you could have plucked those things and they would have broken, and it was like a stretched out guitar string, and I didn't have to do physical education because when I ran, it hurt. So it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I didn't have to run, and instead I just had to write about a sport every day. And that's what I did for physical education. I sat on the bleachers and I wrote about a sport. Probably half what's wrong with me today.
Now you're a very good creative writer. God bless him.
That's true. And let's see, what else was important in that? Oh, well, similarly to the majority of my school life, no guys liked me. I was having some problems with the ladies. I wasn't interested in that.
Me too.
Just as like friends,
Gotcha. Just lady friends.
It was getting bitchy.
Okay, you're not a catty person.
No. If that was a cat pun, God forbid you.
I never do cat puns, please. I'm not a punny person. You know this about me.
And oh my God. And then the only other thing I think I need to do to like set up my life at this point is I lived in a town where a lot of people own horses, and so this was in California, but there was like skaters and like the starting of cliques.
Sure.
And then you had the cowboys.
Gotcha.
And the last thing I want to say is that a lot of the boys at school started pushing on one another's chests until they'd pass out.
What?
Yeah, that was a thing that was happening a lot. If you push on someone's chest hard enough, I guess they'll
makes
pass
your
out.
heart stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
sounds fun. I don't know.
So they do that. Yeah, it was very scary. And it made me very nervous. Anytime I saw it happening, and like the guys were just like, like, stop his heart. And it wasn't a bully thing or anything. Like guys would be like, do it to me.
Yeah.
And it scared me. I was a nervous kid. So I didn't want to like be uncool, but I was nervous. I was just starting to like say bad swear words.
Ooh.
I was breaking into.
What a badass.
I know. It was intense.
13-year-old Brian. I am just moving from Michigan to Florida. Going from living just outside of Detroit, so I was a city guy, to the country.
Wow.
I lived like on a lake. My backyard was a pasture for like there was literally cows and stuff. Like I was in the country. I'm not trying to bring this up to say like I am so smart, look at me. but the Michigan education system was a little bit more advanced than the Florida education system. So at 13, I was going into the ninth grade. I got bumped up a grade because of the test they had me take.
Oh wow!
So I didn't.
You're kind of a big deal in cow country.
Oh, I was the brains of the operation in cow country. So I didn't really I didn't really click with anyone I was going to school with because they're like just a little bit older. But back then, like 1 year, it kind of felt like a lot, you know. So that's really I found myself playing video games and diving into video games more. I was a sports player when I was younger. You know, I played hockey, football, baseball, all that stuff until I moved to Florida. And I didn't have friends, and they're too old, and that's when I really like sank into being a gamer and like full on. Let's play these games. I think I was starting to rebel just because you know, that's what you do when you're in a new situation. You don't want to connect with anyone, and started listening to punk music and
Whoa,
becoming a bona fide badass, much like yourself, Monica.
yeah. You were starting to listen to punk music. I was starting to say the B word.
Whoa.
All right, I'm in there.
All right,
I'm 13-year-old me. Yeah.
All right, so the first game that we're going to be looking at, Slime Rancher from Monami Park, developed and published. Slime Rancher is a tale of Beatrix LeBeau, a plucky young rancher who sets out for a life of 1,000 light years away from Earth on the far, far range where she tries her hand at making a living wrangling slimes. Oh, this game is so bright and colorful.
Super bright and colorful, super fun looking.
First person.
Definitely first person. It looks like you're just collecting and ranching slimes.
Ooh.
I really want to play this because, for one, it says rancher in the title, and I really want to be a rancher. And my grandpa's a rancher, and I love horses and animals, and I think I want to, you know, collect slime and have it grow and be a good slime mom. So I think 13-year-old me wants to play this. Like,
yeah.
Just based off the fact that it says slime rancher. I would be ranching. I'd be a rancher.
I feel like you'd be a successful slime rancher.
Thanks. I think so too. Yeah.
I think 13-year-old Brian would definitely be wanting to play this game. I know I was like trying to be a badass and stuff, but like deep down inside, this is the kind of game I probably would like.
Deep down inside, you're a little slimy?
Yes. Definitely the things I was doing at the age of 13 were producing a lot of slimes. Like, there was this game called Splatterball Plus. It was an AOL-based first-person shooter, and this game reminds me so much of that game. I would have definitely been full on for this, because even though I was, like, wearing all black and, you know, wearing boots and stuff, I still would come home and play Splatterball Plus for hours and hours and hours. So I'm definitely on board for Slime Rancher. This is a game little Brian would have a fun time with.
Cool. We could have played together.
If only. All right, let's move on to our next one.
Okay.
All right, the next game on our list is Observer from Bloober Team SA. Observer, what would you do if your fears were hacked? Observer is a cyberpunk horror game from Bloober Team, the creators of Layers of Fear. Plays an Observer, the new frontline of Neuropolice, as you hack in to the jagged minds of the insane. Holy shit.
Definitely, yeah, psychological horror, violent themes of sex.
Yes.
Oh. And it's just disturbing. There's a lot of disturbing visuals in here. It looks like more of a, you know, exploratory type of horror game.
Mm-hmm.
And little me, oh man. For one, 13-year-old me, I think I watched my very first rated R movie at 13. It was The Cell with Jennifer Lopez, and I had nightmares.
Such a good movie. For weeks.
And I think that, you know, I would have watched that movie. I would have just scared the pee-waddle out of me. And I'm looking at this game, and I'm just scared of it. I don't want to have nightmares like I'm having from watching The Cell. It's too scary. It's too weird, and I don't like it.
Oh,
I'm not gonna play this.
dude, I would be all about this game. This game has like such scary dark visual. This is a game that, unlike my current self, I'd be able to stay up until like 4 in the morning, like playing this game when everyone else is sleeping. I probably would be a nerd and put like the blanket over my head, over to the computer monitor, so I felt even more enclosed to play this game. I
You're
would be
too.
totally about this.
Wow. That punk music's really hardening you.
You know, I just hold fast. The world's hard. You know.
Right. I gotcha.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to play this game?
No, I would have been way too scared.
Oh, yeah, dude. This game would have been where it's at when you were young.
No.
All right, let's move on to our next one. All right, the next one we got on our list is The West of Loathing from Asymmetric Developer. Say howdy to The West of Loathing, a single-player slapstick comedy adventure role-playing game set in the Wild West of the Kingdom of Loathing universe. Traverse snake-infested gulches, punch skeletons wearing cowboy hats, grapple with demon cows, and investigate a wide variety of disgusting spittoons. What did you think about this one?
Well, I think I like this one. I'm starting to spend more time on newgrounds.com at this point in my life, and
Yes.
I am feeling, I'm playing some Flash games. Some of them have bad words in them, and some of them have adult content, and it makes me feel a little naughty, like I'm disobeying my parents. And I'm probably participating in something that if my mom saw it, she wouldn't want me to be participating in it. And so, like, even though, but there's lots of stick figure animations and fun things like that on Newgrounds. And then I see this game, and maybe it's not on Newgrounds, obviously, but like I'm liking it because it's something familiar to me. And
Yeah.
stick figures are like everywhere. There's just tons of humor based around stick figures. There's stick figure games coming out, and I'm like, man, I really I want to try this one out too. I like this. This is up my alley.
Yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about. 13 O'Brien did peruse Newgrounds, but I was absolutely not a fan of those games. I remember my brother sitting there laughing and playing those games, and I just remember thinking that they were just the biggest dum dums for enjoying that type of game.
Oh,
I would have
those dum dums.
I would have hated The West of Loathing. This is not a game I'd have been about. It just, I would rather go outside and play actual games than video games. Than picking up The West of Loathing.
I'm playing it for sure. I'm loving it. I might not even really love it, but I think I love it. And not only that, but it's Wild West. So I love that too. I'm a rancher, and now I get
All right, Will
to
Smith.
be in the Wild West. Yeah.
All right, next up, we're looking at Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator. It's a game where you play as a dad, and your goal is to meet and romance other hot dads. Are you ready? Hi, ready. I'm dad. Good lord.
Well, 13-year-old me is somewhat titillated at this concept. I don't quite understand it. I'm still going. I think I've just started telling my mom that I'm not sure if I want to go to like a Bible school on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
And so really just, being a dad and trying to date other dads just seems a little bit too uncomfortable for me at this age.
Sure.
I would totally be a dad and date other dads now. But like 13-year-old me, oh my gosh. And not only that, but like these are older men, and also like I am just uncomfortable around guys in general. I don't even know if I can do a dating simulator.
Yeah.
It makes me a little like too like I would probably do one if like all the characters were my age, but like older men and like I'm a dad dating a dad, like I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure if this is like okay with God.
You were a God-fearer when you were younger, weren't you?
I was at this point I was really starting to question things, but I I had not broken out of that. Not until high school did I really like say like, no, I'm not religious anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was struggling with it. Little 13-year-old me was struggling with it. So I would have been like, should dads date other dads? Like, some people in my family say no.
I don't think I could have been on board for this game. I do remember like looking at dating simulators when I was 13 and being like, "Oh, this is how you talk to women. Okay, let me go and play these games." Dad Simulator, Dream Daddy would have freaked me the fuck out. I would just like turn my computer off, went and like just sat with my like parents. Like I wasn't looking at that. What are you talking about? You can't look at my gaming history.
Yeah.
Like just looking at it would have freaked me out like that. This game, before its time.
Really?
Yeah.
It was. It's like it would have not been the same. It needs this day and age.
Yes. Definitely.
Definitely, I feel like it needs this day and age. And I wonder, like, if I was 13-year-old me in 2017, if I'd be more willing to try it. I don't know. I'll never be that person, but definitely 13-year-old me back then, like,
yeah.
It's too naughty.
Oh, that game is so weird, dude. I love that someone actually made it because how weird it is.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
I don't even think it's weird. I just think I mean, this is no weirder than like dating birds. And
no.
I'll tell you what, I started when I dated birds, the bird dating game. Why can I not think of the title of it right now? I had a great time and I fell in love. So, you know, I think this is just another addition to all of our hot desires.
All right. I'm so sad that we didn't play this one this week. It'd been perfect for you.
I know.
All right, that's gonna do it for episode 29 of Backspace Nomads. Quick housekeeping at the end of this. We are taking a week off. We won't be back next week, but the following week we're gonna be back with episode 30. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Backspace Nomads and patreon.com/Backspace Nomads to keep in the loop with all that's going on with us. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.